Hi everyone, Release Fight here, so I'm going to talk you through all the different points that you might get stuck in Turtle Rock. These are going to be all the different areas where I really had to work to be able to work out exactly what I needed to do. It includes the crystal switch, the ice blocks, what happens when you literally can't go anywhere, where the keys are, where the nightmare key is. Hopefully the video is going to help you out. If it does, drop me a like below. But one of the first things that kind of had me stumped was that you can turn this thing. It doesn't just go straight forward. You just need to use the left analog stick to be able to turn it in different ways, and you'll be able to get to different points, as you can see here. So firstly, I'm going to head on up to the left because there's a platform that you can move in the same way that I was just showing you. That is a little bit tricky in terms of how you actually get it to cover the entire space, which I'll show you. You just need to head on through here, get through all these little enemies, and head up. And there's different sections that you will have covered already, but one thing that you might not have done is figured out how to do this. And you need to point it downwards to start with and follow this route. So kind of like scissor your way upwards and then scissor your way down, having started pointing down, and that's the easiest way to get all of that done, completely covered, which is one of the clues from the stone beak. And then you can pick up one of the small keys. Another thing that you might get stuck on is where to find the crystal switch. Now I'll cover what you actually do with the crystal switch, but if you've made it further into the game and you're like, where is the crystal switch? I'm stuck, I can't remember where it is. It's just over on the right hand side off this main platform. So instead of heading up here, you just head over to the far right hand side, walk straight down there, and you'll find the crystal switch relatively easily. So now I'm just going to cover something else that might stump you, and it's how to finish off the weird demon thing in this room. He's kind of tough, but you can see if you just use your shield, you can rebound all of these little attacks, and that will slowly chip him down. Eventually he will fall. You have to get the angle right, but eventually he will cave, and that will give you another one of the small keys, which definitely come in handy here in Turtle Rock. It's definitely one of the things that you can easily get stuck on. And with that in mind, I'm just going to show you another one that's easy to miss. So if you just head on up through here, you'll need to use one of your keys to make it on through. Avoid all of these and then head upwards through this secret passage. You'll find yourself in this room, and essentially you just make it through this room by taking out all of the enemies, and then you can head north. You can also destroy all the blocks if you wanted to with bombs. That isn't at all beneficial. And there's a secret route from here, which I'll come back to in a little bit. But essentially, you just need to hit the mummies a fair few times to be able to pick up the key. Just keep jumping and moving and hitting to avoid all of the blocks going, and that'll give you one of the keys. There's another batch of keys, and this is another section that you might get stuck on, but I'll come back to that a little bit later. There's another batch of keys over on the left-hand side from here. So if you head on through this door, and again, you'll need to use one of your keys to be able to get them, but you do need a hefty chunk of keys to be able to progress in the level a little bit later on. Make it past all of these, and you'll eventually come down here. And in this room, you've got a statue, and the stone beak tells you to raise up a little bit. And to do that, you just stand up here and fire an arrow at the statue, and that will give you another one of the keys. And that's one that you kind of might have missed. So it could well be one of the reasons you've got stuck on Turtle Rock. And then if you head on over to the left from here, this is actually a relatively easy key to pick up. But essentially just use your shield to be able to get past this. Push this block down and this one to the right hand side, and you'll get another one of the keys. The only reason I'm showing it is because it's quite close to the other one and relatively easy to include, but I kind of figure it's not one of the reasons that you might have gotten stuck. And then the third one is one of the reasons you might have got stuck, because it's kind of difficult to get and a little bit convoluted. You need to head outside through the exit that I just showed you and then head back on down, and that will put you above the bomb-eating monsters. And from here, it's just a case of hurling down bombs from up here, and this is how you'll pick up the third of the keys that you need to be able to make it through a little section that I'm going to show you in a second. So if you throw them down, they will eventually gobble them up, but it is a bit time consuming, so you need to make sure you got a good supply of bombs, which I think is kind of why they give you a warp point from the outside area, which I just showed you. And then if you just keep on throwing them down, try to be a bit strategic about where you're placing them, and eventually you should be able to get them to eat enough to be able to finish them off and drop you the key up on this level. It's kind of frustrating that you probably will have already taken them out and realized you couldn't get to the chest even when it drops. It's kind of annoying, but this is definitely one of the things that might have stumped you. There's a secret door on the left hand side that will get you through. You just need to bomb it, but because the walls are quite dark, it's easy to miss it, and it's definitely one of the things that I completely bypassed initially when I went through, but then on kind of like running around hoping for the best, I kind of spotted it in the end. And this is where you'll need all of the keys that I've just showed you how to pick up. There are some extra exits that you can put in here. So there's one over on the left hand side here, and then there's another one just below it on the other side of the wall. And these will essentially give you easy routes to run around the rest of the dungeon. You can see there's another one down here, and this is just to make it a little bit easier for you to get from one place to another. But once you've got those all sorted, it's simply a case of heading on through with the keys that you've just collected, and that will bring you over to here, where you've got another lock to sort out before you head on down into a side-scrolling section with these lava guys jumping up and down. You just got to kind of time your jumps a little bit perfectly to be able to make it across, and then use the little section in the middle to wait out the other lava before you can move on to the next section. And then it's just a case of jumping on over to the ladder, and that will bring you through to here. And this is essentially the area that you wanted to bring down the blue switches as a part of the crystal switch to be able to free you up to get around. So this is why that crystal switch is so important. You need it to be able to head on through this section. So you just head on down here, and that will bring you through to a little boss fight with this guy with his boxing gloves. You just need to let him do a hit, and then when he's slightly exposed, you can do a few hits on him to finish him off. And then because you've used the crystal switch, you should then be able to head on up and pick up the magic rod. And the magic rod is another one of the things that will unlock Turtle Rock for you, because you can use it to light these flames for starters, which will give you the chest in here, dropping over on the right hand side, which is bound to be one of the things you guys might have been stuck on. So you just head on over obviously and pick up a small key, which you will need a little bit later on. I know I've picked up a lot of keys, but then you want to head on up here, and you've got the ice blocks to take out. And again, it's the magic rod that you use to take out the ice blocks, but you've got to do it in the right way. So you've got to follow the way that I'm doing it on the screen to be able to make it across without having to like retrace your steps. And here is where the key will come in handy. You can just head on through on the left hand side, and you've got this little boss fight. This boss fight's kind of easy to think I can't do this, but actually it turns out to be incredibly easy, because you can just jump over its head and hit it when it's behind you. And you can repeat that process pretty much on every single time it loops around, and then you should be able to finish off relatively easily to make it through the door on the top left hand side. And that's pretty much the only thing you get out of that entire little fight, that and some extra hearts. But you can see there's another chest to pick up in the room above that, and it leads to one of the toughest to get right. And I'm just going to show you exactly what you need to do. You go around all of those, and then around that, left, down, and then here you just want to like circle back on yourselves, so you're doing like a zigzag formation, and that will complete the full like path lay down, and that will give you the nightmare key, which will get you into the boss. So this might be another little section that you might have gotten stuck on here in Turtle Rock. Once you've got the nightmare key and the magic rod, you can then head up here, which is the second section with the ice blocks, and again follow my process. So you jump and point up and shoot across to the left to be able to get yourself a route over the top, and then you can just blast those out, shoot up to be able to take those out, and then you want to jump on up here and shoot up here using the magic rod, and then you want to backtrack, head back up the ladders, head over to the left, and as you're dropping down here, use the magic rod to be able to get through the last one, and then you've got a whole nother section of ice to deal with. And this one's a little bit easy. You just need to take out the bottom layer and that layer there, and then you can just simply jump on across and make it through to the final boss fight. When you head down the ladders, that'll bring you to here. You can use the nightmare key and obviously get on in. And actually the boss is another thing that you could get stuck on, but essentially it's just a case of using the magic rod, and here's the best place to stand to be able to get it. You just need to spam magic rod until you get it. Hop over to this side. Yeah, take the hits on the chin every now and again because you just want to take down its health as quickly as possible. And then, if you need it, you can use one of your fairies in a jar. If you haven't got one, they're definitely well worth getting. And then you can just shoot it from the side to finish it off. And that is a rundown of all the things that you might get stuck on here in Turtle Rock, including the crystal switch, small keys, the nightmare keys, just sort of everything that you might get stuck on, the secret passages. So hopefully the video helps you out. If it does, drop me a like below. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already with the links on the left hand side, and hit that bell button if you want to get notifications for all of my videos as they come out. You can see the rest of my series on Link's Awakening with the links on the right hand side. Leave any comments below and I will catch you next time.